history of Great Zimbabwe. In the heart of southern Africa, rising from the granite hills of modern-day Zimbabwe, stand the remains of a civilization that once commanded respect across the continent. This is Great Zimbabwe, a monument to African ingenuity, power, and architectural brilliance that flourished over 700 years ago. For centuries, these massive stone walls stood silent, their origins disputed and their builders forgotten by history. But today, we uncover the remarkable story of the Shona people who built the largest ancient structure south of the Sahara and whose legacy echoes through the ages. Around the 11th century CE, Shona-speaking peoples began settling in the region between the Zambezi and Limpopo rivers. They chose this location strategically. Fertile soil, reliable rainfall, and crucially, access to gold deposits that would fuel an empire. By the 13th century, Great Zimbabwe had emerged as the capital of a vast trading network. The city covered nearly 1,800 acres and housed between 10,000 to 20,000 people at its peak, a metropolis by medieval standards. Without mortar, without written plans, Shona craftsmen stacked granite blocks with such precision that the walls have stood for centuries. Some walls reach 36 feet high and 20 feet thick. The great enclosure alone used nearly 1 million granite blocks. Great Zimbabwe's true power came from gold. The kingdom sat at the center of a commercial empire, stretching from the interior gold fields to the ports of the Indian Ocean. Excavations have uncovered Chinese ceramics, Persian glass beads, and Arab coins, evidence of trade connections spanning thousands of miles. The rulers controlled the gold trade, exporting the precious metal through Swahili coastal cities to Arabia, India, and China. The great enclosure remains the most iconic structure. Its outer wall curves gracefully for 820 feet, featuring a distinctive chevron pattern near the top, a signature of Zimbabwean architectural artistry. Inside stands the conical tower, 33 feet high, solid throughout. Archaeologists believe it held symbolic significance, perhaps representing a grain bin, a symbol of prosperity, or serving as a religious monument. Atop the granite hill nearby sits the hill complex, the royal residence. From here, the king, known as the Mambo, ruled with both political and spiritual authority. The position of these structures wasn't accidental. The king resided above, closer to the ancestors and the heavens. Life in Great Zimbabwe was highly organized. Artisans worked in iron, gold, and copper. Farmers cultivated sorghum and millet. Cattle were wealth, status, and sustenance. The society was stratified. Royalty lived in stone enclosures, while commoners dwelled in clay and thatch homes. By the mid-15th century, Great Zimbabwe began to decline. Overpopulation strained local resources. Deforestation for construction and fuel, overgrazing by cattle herds, and soil depletion made sustaining a large population increasingly difficult. The gold deposits that had fueled the empire were becoming exhausted in nearby areas, forcing trade networks to shift northward. Political fragmentation followed. As Great Zimbabwe weakened, regional powers emerged. By 1450, Great Zimbabwe was largely abandoned. The population dispersed, founding new settlements and kingdoms across the region. But the stones remained, silent witnesses to past glory. When Portuguese traders first heard rumors of the stone city in the 16th century, they could scarcely believe Africans had built such structures. When Europeans rediscovered the ruins in the late 19th century, colonial scholars concocted theories attributing Great Zimbabwe to Phoenicians, Arabs, or even the Queen of Sheba, anyone but indigenous Africans. These myths were systematically debunked by archaeology. In the 1930s, British archaeologist Gertrude Caton Thompson conclusively proved that Great Zimbabwe was entirely of African origin, built by the ancestors of the modern Shona people. Yet the colonial Rhodesian government continued suppressing this truth. When Zimbabwe gained independence in 1980, the nation took its name from these ancient ruins, Zimba Zimbabwe, houses of stone in the Shona language. The Zimbabwe bird, found carved in soapstone at the site, became the national emblem. Today, Great Zimbabwe is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a source of immense national pride. Archaeologists continue uncovering its secrets, and visitors from around the world walk paths once trod by medieval African royalty. Great Zimbabwe stands as proof of Africa's rich and complex history, a history of innovation, commerce, and civilization that thrived long before European contact. These stones tell a story that was nearly erased, but truth, like granite, endures. The kingdom may have fallen, but its legacy lives on in the nation that bears its name and in the pride of a people who never forgot who built these magnificent walls.